If you're over 50 with $1 million or more and you just lost your job, the worst thing you can do is panic, and the second worst is pretend everything's fine. You're neither. At your level, a layoff isn't an income problem. It's a structural one. 5 financial clocks start running at once, and several of the decisions are permanent. The career damage is recoverable. The costly mistakes happen fast in the first 30 days, and they rarely look like mistakes at the time. I'm Hazel Secco. I'm a certified financial planner, a CDFA, and a fee-only fiduciary at Aligned Financial Solutions. Today, I'll walk you through the 5 things to do before you sign anything. If you're over 50 with real assets, a 401k you've fed for decades, equity comp, savings, a layoff is a different event than it was at 35. At 35, it's an income problem. Find the next job. After 50, it's a structural event. Severance, equity, health coverage, retirement accounts, and taxes all move at once on different deadlines. And several of the decisions are permanent. The women who come through this well are not the ones who move fastest. They're the ones who know which clocks are real and which panic is optional. So here's a checklist. 5 things in order. Move 1. Do not sign anything in the first meeting. But first, sort the papers because they don't all carry the same clock. The document that waives your legal claims, the severance agreement itself, comes with real time attached. If you're 40 or older, federal law generally gives you 21 days to consider it, 45 in a group layoff, plus 7 days to revoke after signing. For that document, the deadline pressure you feel is largely artificial. Take the time. But some companies now put a different paper in front of the agreement. An election, stay in a change role, or take the exit. Decide within days that deadline is not protected by any of those rules, and it can be entirely real. So the first question to ask in writing about any deadline in the packet, is this one required by law or chosen by the company? The legally required ones come with time. The chosen ones are where you ask to see the full severance terms before you choose, and where you request an extension which costs nothing. However many days you end up holding, 3 or 21, use them because severance is often negotiable and the money is usually not the most valuable thing on the table. The most valuable asks for a woman with equity comp are extending your stock option exercise window, your termination date itself, because if a vest date lands 3 weeks after your last day, moving your separation date past it can be worth more than an extra month of pay. And employer-paid health coverage. This is the moment to spend a few $100s on an employment attorney to review the agreement. At your level, it pays for itself almost every time. One text note while we're here, and some of the viewers might recognize it, severance is supplemental wages. So it's typically withheld at the flat 22%. If severance plus your regular pay puts you in a higher bracket this year, the withholding gap from the RSU episode applies to your severance check too. Plan for it. Move 2 is the one with the harshest deadline and the least forgiveness. Quick thing before we keep going, the tax side of all this, the low income year, a layoff creates, and how to actually use it is in my free executive women's tax playbook linked below. It walks through the 7 moves that matter most before retirement, and severance and the conversion window are 2 of them. Grab it now so it's ready when you need it. Okay, move 2. Your equity comp has a countdown, and it starts on your termination date. 3 things to check in this order. First, your vested stock options. At most companies, you have a window to exercise them after you leave. Often around 90 days, sometimes less, occasionally more. Miss the window and vested options you spend years earning expire worthless. And if you hold incentive stock options, exercising more than 3 months after separation generally costs you their special tax treatment even when the plan allows longer. This is the single most expensive fine print in a layoff. Second, your unvested RSUs, the default in most plans, they're forfeited at termination. That's exactly why your separation date was a negotiating item in Move 1. A vest tranche that lands before your last day is yours. One that lands after it usually isn't. Third, your vested RSU shares. Those are yours. But now the concentration question comes back with force. Your paycheck from that employer is gone. So how much of your net worth is still riding on their stock? For most women in this situation, a layoff is the moment the sell and diversify decision makes itself. Let me share an example. A 54-year-old VP at a technology company laid off with vested options worth about $210,000 on paper. paper, a 90-day exercise window, and an RSU tranche of about $95,000 vesting 5 weeks after her termination date. She negotiated her separation date, passed the vest, one sentence in the agreement, and mapped the option exercise against her bracket with a planner before the window closed. The difference between doing that and doing nothing was well over $100,000. Same layoff, different month, different outcome. Move 3, the one people put off because it's boring and then overpay for a year and a half. Move 3, health insurance. If you're in your 50s, this is the bridge to Medicare. And the default choice is often the expensive one. You'll be offered COBRA, keeping your employer plan for up to 18 months. Same coverage, same doctors, familiar. Here's the part that shocks people. You now pay the entire premium, both your share and the piece your employer was quietly covering, plus up to a 2% administrative fee. For executive level family coverage, that can run well north of $2,000 a month. You have 60 days to elect it. The alternative, almost nobody at your income level thinks applies to them, the ACA Marketplace. Losing job-based coverage opens a 60-day special enrollment window. And here's a twist. Marketplace subsidies are based on your income this year, not your asset. That distinction still matters enormously. A woman with a 7-figure portfolio is judged on her taxable income, not her net worth. But be precise about the current rules because they changed this year. The enhanced pandemic era subsidies expired at the end of 2025, which means the old income cliff is back. Above roughly 4 times the poverty line, the premium help drops off sharply. So the play isn't, I'll automatically qualify. It's, if I manage my taxable income in a layoff year, I may keep myself under the cliff and unlock real premium credits, which is exactly why this has to be coordinated with Move 5. A Roth conversion raises that same income number, and one done carelessly can push you over the cliff and cost you the subsidy. Compare COBRA and the marketplace before the windows close and run the income math on one sheet of paper. Move 4 protects the money you already saved from you in a stressful month. Move 4. Slow down before anyone touches the 401k because there's a rule here that most people and honestly plenty of advisors get backward. It's called the rule of 55. If you separate from your employer in the calendar year you turn 55 or later, you can generally take withdrawals from that employer's 401k without the 10% early withdrawal penalty, even though you're not 59 and a half yet. Ordinary income tax still applies, but the penalty is waived. For a woman laid off at 56 who needs a bridge to her next chapter, that's an enormous safety valve. Here's the backwards part. The reflexive post-layoff move, roll the 401k into an IRA to consolidate, destroys that option. The rule of 55 applies only to the workplace plan of the employer you just left. Roll it into an IRA and you're back to waiting for 59 and a half or paying penalties. So the sequence matters. First, decide whether you might need income from that account before 59 and a half. Only then decide whether a rollover makes sense. Most articles and most well-meaning brothers-in-law have this exactly reversed. While you're at it, deferred compensation pays out on the schedule you elected years ago. Separation is often the trigger, and it's generally non-negotiable now. Pull the statement so the payout years don't surprise you because they stick income into exactly the years you may want to keep income low. And move 5 is the reframe. The reason this episode belongs on a retirement show. And this is exactly the kind of decision I'd rather you not make alone. If you're staring at a rollover form or a severance deadline right now, that's what a call is for. 50 minutes, complimentary, no pitch. I'll tell you which clock is real and which move comes first. The link's below. For now, let's continue because move 5 is the reframe. Move 5. Before you polish the resume, run the numbers on a question most women in this position never ask out loud. Do I actually need the next job or do I just assume I do? I've sat with women who spent 9 miserable months chasing a role that matched the old title, and when we finally ran the projection, the answer was that the portfolio, the severance, and a modest spending adjustment already covered the life they wanted. Not always. Sometimes the answer is you need 3 more years, and here's exactly what those years buy you. Either answer beats guessing, because either answer turns panic into a plan. That's the real difference between job hunting from fear and choosing your next chapter from clarity. Here's the piece that ties this whole season together. If you don't rush into the next role, a layoff year is a low-income year. Regular listeners already know what that means. The conversion window from our Roth episode may swing open years early earlier than you planned, a chance to move pre-tax money to Roth at rates you haven't seen since your 30s. One caution from move 3, conversions raise the income your health insurance subsidies are based on. So the conversion math and the coverage math get done together on one sheet of paper, not in two separate panics. That's the strange gift hiding inside the worst meeting of your career. The door that closed may have opened the window. Let me pull it together. If the knock comes, don't sign in the room. You likely have 21 days and real leverage. Read the equity plan the same week. The option clock is the harshest one. Choose your health bridge deliberately. Income, not assets, drives the subsidy. Know the rule of 55 before anyone touches a 401k and run the am I actually done math before you job hunt from fear. You can't control whether the meeting ever lands on your calendar. You can absolutely control whether it finds you prepared. And prepared for a woman at your stage doesn't mean a better resume. It means knowing which clocks are real. So here's the recap. Don't sign in the room. Read the equity plan the same week. Choose your health bridge on income instead of net worth. Know the rule of 55 before anyone touches the 401k. And run the am I actually done math before your job hunt from fear. You can't control whether that meeting lands on your calendar. You can control whether it finds you prepared. The playbook and the call are both linked below. And if this was new to you, here's the one to watch next. A layoff year is usually a low-income year, and that's the single best window in your life to move pre-tax money to tax-free while your bracket is down. I show you exactly how that works in this one. Go watch it. I'll see you there.